Did you know how we went from modeling trees and grass to making everything 100 times faster and more efficient with automated tools and ready vegetation assets? The answer lies in specialized software that were made specifically for this task. Software like View and Plant Factory, which literally changed how everyone does this kind of work. So what are these software exactly, and how they dominated the industry for many years? And by the way, there is some good news about this software, which I will talk about at the end of the video, if you don't know what happened in the last couple of years. Before we continue, I want to tell you guys about the Superhive Market Winter Sale, which is taking place right now, with thousands of products on sale with a 25% discount. And this is a great chance to get some of your favorite add-ons. And if you don't know where to start, I have in the description of this video a list of some of the best add-ons and courses out there. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. View and Plant Factory are two well-known tools from a company called Eon Software, and they both have pretty interesting backstories. View actually began its life way back in 1997, originally under the name Vue du Spray, which I think translates to Spirit View, or View of the Spirit, created by Eon's founder, a developer named Nicholas Phelps. The idea was to make it easier for artists to create natural 3D environments. You see, in the late 90s, building a 3D landscape or forest was kinda hard. I mean, you would have to manually model terrains or paint backdrops, and Vue was kind of a response to this challenge. Early versions let users generate terrains, plants, and skies with relative ease, which was a game changer for digital artists. It was embraced pretty quickly by hobbyists and professionals alike, and over the early 2000s, Vue kept evolving, and around 2004 and 2005, it introduced procedural, node-based workflows, so you could fine-tune environments with node graphs. Around the same time, Eon added integration plugins to connect Vue with major software like Maya, Max, Lightwave, Cinema 4D, etc. This meant you could use Vue's environment generation inside your favorite 3D software, which made a lot of studios take notice. Vue also got a signature special atmosphere engine back in 2006 for creating realistic skies and volumetric clouds, which I believe was one of the standout features back in the day. And as you can imagine, all this early development set Vue as one of the unique software for anyone wanting beautiful outdoor scenes without having to build everything by hand like artists used to do in the 90s and early 2000s. Plant Factory, on the other hand, came along much later. Its first version was introduced back in 2013 as Eon's answer to cranes, plants, and trees in high detail. By that time, Vue already had a basic plant system. I mean, it could grow solid growth plants randomly, but Eon saw the need for a dedicated plant modeler, and it was pretty straightforward. 3D artists were craving more control and realism, I mean for vegetations in their scenes, and Plant Factory was built to let users design any plant imaginable, and there are many needs from a simple weed to a massive fantasy tree, and this can be done with a procedural approach. So Plant Factory was the next generation of plant creation tools, and 2015 was another big year in their story. That's when Bentley Systems acquired Eon Software and its product line, including Vue and Plant Factory. But the company continued to operate as a subsidiary, and development continued as if nothing happened. Now we're going to talk more about the details. From the start, Vue set itself apart by focusing on natural 3D environments. What made it unique, especially in the early 2000s, was how artist-friendly it was for creating entire worlds. Because it wasn't a general-purpose 3D modeler, to the contrary, it was built to generate landscapes, skies, water, plants, and digital nature environments. And here I'm going to talk about some of Vue's standout features, which made it special. First of all, Vue introduced an ecosystem technology that allowed you to populate scenes with millions of plants, trees, and rocks, and it did that automatically. So in the late 2000s, it made it easy to populate your scenes with millions of plants, and it was used in a lot of movies because it was so efficient, and it was able to achieve a new level of natural complexity that general 3D programs simply struggled with back then. Also, Vue's atmosphere engine has been one of its crown jewels. It simulates realistic skies, sunlight, and volumetric clouds with high detail. Around 2006, Vue introduced a spectral atmosphere model, producing beautiful sunsets, fog, God rays through clouds, you name it. And this made it really ideal for sky and lighting design. In addition, it provided intuitive terrain modeling tools. You could shape terrains by painting elevation, or using procedural noise, and you could even do entire plants for those needing an Earth-like backdrop. It also had a procedural ocean and water system for creating lakes, oceans with wave patterns, etc. Interestingly enough, Vue could also operate both as a standalone software and as a plugin inside major 3D software, as I said before. This means if you were working in 3ds Max, Maya, Lightwave, etc., you could load Vue within these programs and mix Vue's environments into your scene. The software would handle rendering and environments, which you can then composite with your characters or buildings from the 3D program. I also have to mention that Vue is actually largely node-based and procedural. There is a function editor where advanced users can tweak node graphs for materials, terrains, and object placement, in addition to other things. Now, Plant Factory brought its own flavor when it arrived in 2013. At the time, the industry did have some plant generation tools, for example SpeedTree, which was popular for games and some films too. But Plant Factory aimed to provide even more procedural control, in addition to more realism for vegetation. So what made it special? Each Plant Factory model isn't just a static tree. I would say it is more like a plant generator. You have high-level control for things like age, season, and health of the plant. The software even handles levels of LOD, so it can auto-simplify the geometry for distant versions of the plant, and this is crucial for game development or even large scenes where you don't have to fully show detail or the full geometry from far away. Also, Plant Factory was built to play nicely with Vue from day one. You could take a plant from Plant Factory and load it procedurally into Vue, meaning you could still adjust it within Vue and not just as a static mesh, because you can change the age, size, etc. Given their capabilities, it is not surprising that Vue, and to a later extent Plant Factory, saw widespread use in the visual effects industry, and even in game development and ArchViz. Let's talk about VFX first, since this is where these tools shine early on. In film and television, Vue became something of a secret weapon for creating epic environments and backgrounds in movies. As early as the 2000s, major VFX studios were incorporating Vue into their pipeline. For example, I can mention ILM, which used Vue in their work. One high-profile usage was on Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest back in 2006, where Vue was employed to generate lush tropical island landscapes, which were seen in the film. You see, Vue's ability to quickly produce realistic terrains covered in vegetation was perfect for shots on remote islands and coastlines. Another example is the Spiderwick Chronicles back in 2008, a fantasy film which featured magical forests and environments. Beyond those examples, I can also mention titles like Avatar, Narnia, Terminator Salvation, Sucker Punch, in addition to more movies, which some sources mention that they use Vue for their work. Those specifics vary. The key point is that studios have found Vue extremely useful for matte painting backgrounds, sky domes, or even fully 3D rendered environment shots. It allowed relatively small teams to generate convincing landscapes, which, as you can imagine, helped them save a lot of time and money, which could have been a massive task to model manually. But ILM wasn't just the only studio. Other studios used it too, like Weta Digital, Digital Domain, and various animation studios. Even animation studios like DreamWorks and Blue Sky sometimes used Vue to create background scenery or maybe some concept art for their films. And when Plant Factory was introduced, whenever a production needed a hero tree or some unique plants, Plant Factory was a great choice. It was used in VFX to design custom vegetation that could then be animated or scattered in scenes. And since Plant Factory came out in 2013, it coincided with a time when physically based rendering and higher detail became the norm, so having really realistic plants became more important. And studios started using Plant Factory to, for example, generate a specific type of tree to match the concept art, with the ability to iterate using different tools to get exactly what they wanted. Vue and Plant Factory also made an impact on the game development industry, although in somewhat a different way. But in practice, the dominant tool in games for foliage has been SpeedTree, and I believe many AAA games license SpeedTree for things like forests and so on. However, some game developers preferred Plant Factory when they needed more customization or wanted to avoid licensing costs. In addition, other than games, Plant Factory saw more implementation in the ArchViz industry, especially after Bentley acquisition, since the company had strong ties to the architecture and engineering fields, and because also they implemented in their own software, and as a consequence, they made it even popular in this field. Now for the good news I talked about in the beginning of the video. Since 2024, View and Plan Factory became free to use for anyone. So if you're interested, you can use it right now using the links in the description. And there you have it, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to this channel to receive more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.